Do you know what this is? This is the grand staff. This is the kind of paper that you would see piano music written on. Here we have the treble clef and the bass clef. The treble clef is where we usually have our notes for the right hand. The bass clef is where we put our left hand notes usually. And then here's the other important part of the grand staff, this brace here that connects it all together. That's how we know it's a grand staff, and we could write piano music on this. But this video is actually about key signatures. Do you know what a key signature is? It's the thing that tells us what scale we're using for the song that we're playing. It might tell you what position to put your hands in too sometimes. If you are playing a C major scale, you have no black keys, right? So we don't need to have any sharps or flats in the key signature. But every other major scale has at least one sharp or flat, and right at the beginning of the song is where you'll have that information. So I want to show you how to figure out what key you are in by looking at your key signature. So if we look at this piece of paper, the key signature is 0 sharps or flats. That would be the key of C major. C major has 0 sharps or flats. Actually, I'm going to write that in the middle. That would be better. All right, so the key of C major has 0 sharps or flats. Now, let's start with sharps. Okay, the first sharp that we would ever use would be the F sharp. Every good boy does fine. I'm going to put a sharp up here, the F sharp. Okay, that goes with the key of G major. I'm going to write a G here next to that. Okay, the G major scale has 1 sharp. Now I'm going to add the next sharp. The next sharp we use is the C sharp, and I'm putting that in the third space because F-A-C-E. Okay, the scale that has 2 sharps in it is the D scale. Okay, so remember we had 0 sharps, 1 sharp, 2 sharps. Okay, the next scale the next sharp we would use is the G sharp, and I'm going to write that up here in this space right above the staff. We always write the G sharp up there. The scale that has 3 sharps is the A scale. Okay, so now I want to go back up a little bit and tell you that the last sharp in the key signature is the same note as the 7th note of your scale. And if you know your do, re, mi's, think do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. Ti is the 7th note of the scale. T is also the last sharp. Okay, what this means is that you can find the last sharp you see in the key signature, that's T, go up 1 note to find do, and that will be the name of your scale. Remember, this was a G sharp. If G sharp is T, then do must be the note above it, A. If this is your last sharp, so pretend that one's not there, that's a C sharp, that's T. Go up 1 note to find do, and that is D. Now, pretend that we only have 1 sharp. This is the F sharp. That is T. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. Go up 1 note to find do, and that would be G. And that's the scale that has 1 sharp. I'm going to keep going. After F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp, the next one would be D sharp. Every good boy does. Now remember, this sharp will be the T of the scale that uses this key signature. If D sharp is T, or the 7th note of the scale, go up 1 note and you find the name of the scale. D sharp, up 1 note is E. So the E scale is the one that has 4 sharps. Okay, I'm going to keep going. F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp is our next one. If A sharp is T, or the 7th note of the scale, the 8th note of the scale, or do, must be B. A sharp, B. The B scale has 5 sharps. Okay? And see, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp. Our next one is an E sharp. Okay, forget about the fact that that's a weird note. But what is 1 note above E? F, right? Oh, but this is kind of tricky because E sharp is F. Oh, okay, so if E sharp is F, what we really need to do is go up a half step. What's a half step above F? F F sharp, right? So the scale that has 6 sharps is the F sharp scale. Okay? Now I'm going to add one more sharp, the B sharp. That is the last sharp that you would ever see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are only 7 possible sharps. All right, so if B sharp is the 7th note of our scale, we need to go up to figure out what do would be. Remember that B sharp, though, is the same note as C. Go up a half step from that, and you get C sharp. Huh, I didn't need to erase that C after all. C sharp. The C sharp scale has 7 sharps. Okay, so just to review, if you have a key signature with sharps in it, however many there are, find the last sharp, go up a letter, go up a half step, and you'll have the name of your scale. All right, so if your last sharp is a D sharp, you go up to E, and that's the name of your scale. If your last sharp is an A sharp, go up to B, and that's the name of your scale. By the way, here is what the sharps look like in the bass clef. F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp, E sharp, B sharp. Okay, now I want to talk about flats. The first flat that we ever use is the B flat. We always use the same order when we're writing flats or sharps in a key signature. F sharp is always the first one. B flat is always the first one. Okay? The B flat in a key signature means that we are playing an F scale. An F scale has 1 flat in it. Okay, the second flat we use is an E flat. And the scale that has B flat and E flat in it is the B flat scale. All right, our next sharp is an A flat. And the scale that has those 3 flats is the E flat scale. We'll see if you see a pattern happening here. Our next flat is a D flat. And the scale that has these 4 flats is an A flat scale. Have you noticed the pattern? The B flat scale went with B flat and E flat. The E flat scale went with B flat, E flat, A flat. The A flat scale went with B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat. So here's the trick. When you're looking at a key signature with at least 2 flats in it, all you need to do is identify the next to last flat, and that's the name of your scale. So if we have these 2 flats, the next to last flat is this one, the B flat, and that's the name of our scale. These 3 flats has this as its next to last flat, that's the E flat, and it's the E flat scale. All right, we go on to 4 flats, making this the next to last. A flat is the scale. Okay, next flat would be G flat. The next to last flat would be D flat. So this key signature goes with the D flat scale. Our next flat would be C flat. The next to last flat is G flat, so that goes with the G flat scale. And the final flat, which you won't see very often, is the F flat. The next to last flat is the C flat. Whoa, what a scale that would be. All right, so quick review. If you're looking at a key signature with flats in it, as long as there are at least 2 flats, all you have to do is find the next to last flat, and that's the name of your scale. So then you might be wondering, what if I only have 1 flat? There is no next to last flat. For that one, you just need to remember that is the F major scale. Okay? You may not remember everything I just told you, but the next time somebody starts talking to you about this, you'll say, oh yeah, I've heard that before. And maybe you'll start to remember. Thanks for watching.